Another player-made module. There's 3 left that I at least have plans on playing. Island Saga, it's a good campaign, long campaign. Then there's a group of 3 modules. Dreamcatcher, Demon, Shadow Lords. Don't recall the exact order which they're played in, doesn't matter. Individual real modules that sort of tie in on each other. Usually it works through the NPCs you're interacting with. So multiple independent adventures with the same people. And Tales of Arterra, Awakening and Lost. 2 separate modules again, however, I think it starts with the Lost. Start at level 1. Start at level 12. Yeah, 1 to 13. That would basically mean we'll probably end up around level 12 to 13 by playing Tales of Arterra, the Lost, and it continues here. Lost would be again an independent adventure, while Awakening is more of a Awakening I wouldn't play without playing the Lost. It can be played as an independent adventure. It's not that tightly tied to what happened previously, but it sort of sprouts from the seeds laid out in the Lost. So, Tales of Arterra to Lost. I'm sure that I made a Let's Play out of this already. However, I think this was one of the casualties of my hard drive failure some time ago. I don't even recall when it happened anymore. So I'm fairly confident. Well, at least I didn't see a playlist of it in the YouTube channel. So I'm thinking it was one of the Let's Plays that were basically destroyed. Making another one. Well, if it's there somewhere and I just didn't see it, then there's gonna be 2 of them. That's gonna be a huge loss. I know the NPCs you have access to in this module. There's 3 of them. It's basically a rogue, might be a fighter rogue. Then there's a pretty straightforward fighter type. Then there's a cleric. So you have your basics covered. You have some spellcasting ability, you have your thievery, trap removal, and you have your frontline fighter. So in a way, it doesn't matter in the slightest which character I would play. I'm thinking of playing with a offensive spellcaster, not a wizard though. That leaves us with a druid and a sorcerer. Maybe a sorcerer. I mean, at least I plan to play on 2 additional campaigns. Both are fairly lengthy. And I'd like to play a druid on one of them. So maybe a sorcerer. Not as some kind of scholarly type at all, but someone who has natural affinity to magic and probably has basically uses that, maybe goes power tripping because of that a little bit. So some kind of chaotic in nature, does what he really wants to do. And not necessarily chaotic evil, but some type of chaotic anyway. We have spellcaster. Lots and lots of spellcasters. I don't know what type of a sorcerer I would like to play though. We're not a male. You're a bit too undead. You're a bit too gnomish. God damn it. good enough. Charisma-based spell casting, no spell preparation, spell failure from armor is a factor. A paladin sorcerer would be a nice thing, but it's I don't think I want. You would have to play a lawful character. Maybe chaotic good. I mean, a person who would try to do good, but who basically only relies on his personal compass of good, not any kind of outside limitations or principles in that sense. You do what you think is right, and that's the main guiding principle of your life. Charisma has to be full. Determines the spells we get and how many. I'm not sure if intelligence affects the difficulty class of our spells, because I'm thinking of basically making a bombardier, not something that can dish out extra damage, bring down defenses, and that sort of thing. Offensive focus as much as possible. Okay. How hard their spells are to resist. Sorcerers do not use intelligence for any of their spellcasting. Is that actually true, though? Well, I'm going to assume it is. I'll still put a couple of points there because I don't want to be specifically stupid, and the skill points are useful. Wisdom can be as low as it can be. Normal constitution. We'll need some dexterity. Certain type of attack spells do require you to make a touch attack. I don't recall how many you get in Neverwinter Nights 1 though, but it'll still help. And a little bit of extra strength, simply because this is not truly a party-based system even if we have additional NPCs. We might have limited access to their inventories, sure, but it's still, a lot of the stuff still travels through your personal inventory, so some strength is just makes a lot of sense out of convenience sakes. Right. So very charismatic, dexterous, and that's pretty much it. Average in every other way. A little bit stupid. "12 points, so we can develop 3 class skills. Concentration is a must. We cannot be interrupted easily. Not take any crafting. Heal is nice. Lore, well, lore would imply that you're sort of the studious type, the wizard type, and I don't think I want that. It makes a lot of sense though, but spellcrafting also makes a lot of sense. Identify and perform counter spells. More importantly, I think it affects your difficulty class. Yeah, characters also gain +1 bonus for every 5 ranks in the skill to all saving throws against spells. So we need a point in tumble. It has to be trained, otherwise it's never used. We have 2 extra dexterity, so it'll help. Probably not gonna spend anything more here. Not sure I want spellcraft either. It's a useful ability, very useful. Specialist Wizard suffers a -5 penalty when dealing with a spell or effect from a prohibited school. Yikes. I'd like to take Persuade. Persuade and Concentration. Everything else we can sort of spread around wherever we feel like. Tumbling would increase our survivability in tough situations that we have to maneuver around. At the same time, Spellcraft will also do something sort of similar. It does require an intelligence. Maybe I'll skip the lore and Spellcraft. They're useful abilities, sure. But there's a but. They don't align very well with the character of my character. They also take bluffing, I suppose. I'm not sure how much conversation skills are even used. I don't think that much. I don't think I want to take bluffing. I'll take tumble instead. Simple weapons. I'll take the pixie familiar. I don't usually use familiars, so I might as well take the one that can function as a secondary rogue. Quick to master means extra feed at startup. Okay, always keep in mind our focus. We are there to attack, attack, attack. So, extended spell. Especially since we're a sorcerer, the metamatic skills are more useful than with a wizard. Since we don't have to memorize spells, we can always just use things on the fly. So, might as well take it now. We're gonna take it sooner or later. Some kind of range weapon, point blank shot might not be a bad idea, because there's no way we'll have the spellcasting capacity to handle many fights at this point. Probably not. It would be a stretch to think we can even manage a single fight. Still. Spell penetration. Not sure if I want this. It's not that this isn't a useful thing. However, creatures that tend to have high spell resistance tend to have it so high that it's almost impossible to do anything on them anyway. You need something that simply bypasses spell resistance. That's usually a more sensible approach, like some kind of a conjured attack or simply a summon creature, or something like that. Maybe a spell to drop their spell resistances. So I think we might be better served by focusing on increasing the difficulty class of our spells. So spell focus. +2 to an entire class. Abjuration, Conjuration, Divination. It's what type of spells do we really want to make basically deliver the damage. I think Evocation is a good solid choice if you don't know what if you don't memorize the spells. Necromancy is always very powerful in the later stages, but it's not exactly what I envision for this character. I want to do damage, not basically instant death abilities or things like that. Abjuration would be useful too, but I don't think I'd want the difficulty class focus on it. Evocation would be, I think, a lot of the, if not all of the missile barrage spells, magic missiles, lightning bolts, fireballs, that sort of very bread and butter damage spells that a spellcaster can have. So it's a very safe bet in that sense. Transmutation would have disintegration type qualities, and not bad by any means, but this is, I don't recall what you get with each school, so I'm taking Evocation because I know it's a safe bet. We'll get at least something useful out of it, so it won't go to waste. We will not be learning new spells through scrolls. Electrical damage. cold damage. Save none, spell resistance. Save none, spell resistance. Save none, spell resistance. Maybe a few different type of damage spells. I mean, we don't ever want to rely on level 0 spells, cantrips, but it's still a different damage type or two that's available. Frost, electricity, 1 to 3 points, but it's still something. +1 bonus to all saving throws for 2 turns. That's desperation move, but it is genuinely useful. Saving throw bonuses are useful. Daze. Humanoid creature that has 5 hit dice or less is dazed for 2 rounds. Could be useful, but why would you do that instead of doing damage? Well, if you have a lot of party members, then that's a different matter. -1 penalty to attack rolls. 10 rounds. Fortitude's negate, so it won't really work on fighters. And has spell resistance. Only 2 first level spells. Now, I have no idea. Can we reselect these or change them out at some point? Sleep is usually a great startup spell, but again, I don't recall can we change these out like at all. So maybe start with safe bet, things that are going to be useful in the long run. We need an attack spell, preferably something other than magic missile. It's not like it's a bad spell. Magic damage, yep, no saving throw, so it always does the damage, and it's magic damage, so it's very hard to resist. But it takes a long while before it actually feels all that useful. Ice dagger, cold damage. Burning hands is nice, but transmutation, so if we could preferably find something else. Colorless Flurry, illusion. Horizical's boom. Evocation. Sonic damage. It's a bit slow to develop, but also has a will save or be deafened for 1d4 rounds. Well, sure. We're going to have to take some kind of basic attack spell right now anyway. Conjuration. This is will save. And it's deafened, it won't hinder combat abilities. Negative energy ray. Necromancy. Heals undead. Protection from alignment, I suppose, would be a good, very basic buff spell. It's going to be useful from start to finish. Immunity to any mind-affecting spells and spell-like abilities used by creatures of the chosen alignment. So basically evil. And long duration too. Immunity to spells, magic missile. Evocation summoning spell. The saving throw increased does nothing for us here. 1 minute for 2 levels. Caster summons a dagger that acts as a faithful and loyal servant. That's gonna be pretty desperate very quickly. And if we can get access to at least 1 companion or 2, we're not gonna have to rely on those. I'm thinking of taking the magic missile. but it sort of just reproduces this effect. So I feel we can do better. Grease is a nice spell, but the duration is too short this stage. I think I'll just take the protection from alignment, simply because it's a safe bet. No matter, for a first level caster it's useful, for level 20 caster it's still useful, so just, and we already have one attack spell. Sonic is also very infrequently resisted in any significant amount, so it's probably working against everything to encounter Pixie in a row. We have a beer of some sort. Yeah, this is gonna be good enough. Maybe a change of clothes. Ooh, that's cool.
Get on them! Attack, I say! By my direction, attack! No quarter! To the fight! I need some help here!
Yeah,
now!
the yelling man will take that. Ah, generate name. Jeez, fuck. I always forgot that we have to make a name. Roland Whelm. Or is this Rolano? Rolano. Probably Roland. Not sure if we can select a deity. I didn't see anything in the immediate notes for the module, so I'm guessing not. Right. Roland Whelm, human chaotic good sorcerer.